They always come with hope. It's the finest spice, you see. The bell on the heavy wrought iron gate of my Haveli chimed. The sound was fragile, sharp, and utterly out of place in the suffocating air of Varanasi. Outside, the city was a roaring beast. Vehicles rattled, vendors shouted their wares, and ancient chants drifted up from the ghats along the sacred Ganges. But inside these ancient walls, time didn't flow. It stagnated. The air was thick with dust, the scent of withered marigolds and the metallic tang of old fear. It's a scent I've carried with me for decades, ever since the day I picked this very camera from a corpse and became a collector of souls. Hesitant footsteps echoed down the long marble corridor. Even her steps whispered of despair. I stood in the darkness of the main gallery, my hand gliding over a teak frame carved with intricate, almost obsessive precision. The photograph inside was icy cold to the touch. She appeared in the doorway, a trembling silhouette against the fading light. She was young, perhaps 20, wearing a faded kurta that had seen better days. Her name was Priya. I knew it before she even spoke. Mr. Rohan. Her voice cracked, fragile as a bird's wing. They say you can find the lost. I stepped from the shadows. I'm not a tall man, not a frightening one. My appearance is designed to be disarming. Lost is not a word I use, Priya, I said, my voice soft, a carefully practiced calm. I prefer preserved. A shiver ran through her. She held out a crumpled photograph, her hand shaking. It showed a young man, smiling broadly, his eyes squinting against the sun. Arjun, my brother. He vanished 3 weeks ago. The police, they say he ran away. But I know better. He wouldn't. I can help you, I said, letting the words hang in the air. But my art, it comes at a price. It demands understanding. She didn't care. Hope blinds people, makes them reckless. It's the one constant in my work. Please, she whispered, her eyes pleading. I'll do anything. Good. A smile touched my lips, one I've rehearsed for years. It's meant to be reassuring, but there's a coldness to it I can't quite hide. Come, let me show you my gallery. We moved through shadowed courtyards where the air was thick with the smell of rot and sulfur. The silence here was heavy, not an absence of sound, but the pressing presence of something watching, waiting. We entered the main gallery. Flickering oil lamps cast twisted, dancing shadows on the peeling walls. My collection was all around us. Dozens of portraits, each in a lavish, ornate frame, each draped in black silk. What is this place? Priya asked, her voice a hushed whisper. These are my patrons, I said, my voice echoing slightly in the large chamber. Those who appreciate raw emotion. Not the fake smiles people wear for the world, but the primal moments that define them. I stopped at one frame, my fingers tracing its edge. For example, this one. I pulled away the silk veil. The photograph depicted a colonial-era room. At its center stood a British officer, his face flushed a deep crimson, eyes bulging with unrestrained fury, a whip raised high above his head. A single bead of sweat gleamed on his brow, frozen in time. Priya gasped and stepped back, her hand flying to her mouth. It's horrible. No, I corrected her softly. It is powerful. My guests, they consume it. Art is consumption, Priya. A transfer of energy. She didn't understand, of course, but the fear in her eyes was enough. It was a start. I led her deeper, toward the restricted section. The air grew colder here, a damp chill that settled in the bones. My patrons were gathered. Ancient, shriveled shapes crouched on dusty armchairs, beings drained of all feeling, now existing only to absorb the feelings of others. Their collective gaze fixed on her as she entered. The air thickened, pressing in, squeezing the breath from her chest. Arjun, where is my brother? Priya's voice broke, the terror finally overwhelming her hope. I stopped before an empty frame, draped like all the others. He is a special piece, so full of vibrant energy. I took hold of the silk covering. My camera, you see, it doesn't just take a picture. It captures the soul at its absolute peak. For that officer, it was his arrogance. For others, it's greed or suffering. For your brother, I pulled the silk away. Priya screamed, a raw, piercing sound that was immediately swallowed by the suffocating silence of the gallery. There he was, Arjun, not smiling. He was trapped in the dark alley where I had cornered him. His eyes were wide with absolute, undiluted terror, his mouth open in a silent scream that would never end. The photograph wasn't static. It moved just slightly. A single drop of sweat slid slowly down his temple. His fingers curled, trembling against the grimy brick wall. No. No. Priya lunged forward, her fists pounding against the glass. But it wasn't glass. It was soft, yielding, like skin. Arjun! Arjun! He can hear you, I whispered, leaning in close. But he cannot reply. His fear fills this room. It's a symphony. My patrons love it. From the shadowy corners of the room came a dry, rustling sound, like thousands of insects clapping their brittle wings in appreciation. Release him! Priya shouted, tears streaming down her face, her voice raw with anguish. I am an artist, I said, my tone matter of fact, and this is my masterpiece. Souls are an endless resource, Priya. I'll pay you. Any price, just let him go, she begged. I shook my head slowly. Money is meaningless here. My patrons demand balance. There must be an exchange. I stepped closer to her, my camera already in my hand. The lens began to hum with a low, hungry energy. This gallery requires a trade, one soul for another. Priya froze. Her eyes darted from my face to her brother's trembling, terrified portrait. You mean me? Not just you, I clarified. The moment. My patrons are growing bored of Arjun's simple fear. They crave something new. Something more complex. I raised the camera. I want your sacrifice, I whispered. The moment you realize you must die to save your brother. That terror, that pain, but above all, the love, that pure, painful, self-destructive love, that will be my new masterpiece. She took a deep, shuddering breath. The tears stopped. She stood tall. Her fear replaced by a terrifying resolve. Do it, she said, her voice firm and clear. But you promise me. You release him. I pressed the button. There was no snap, no flash. Only a cold wind that surged from the lens, tearing at the very air in the room. The color drained from Priya's face, her skin turning to ash. The warmth, the motion, the life, all of it was gone in an instant. Her eyes remained locked on me, a perfect, eternal crystallization of love, acceptance, and soul-shattering terror. Her body collapsed to the floor, a hollow, gray shell. A collective sigh rose from the patrons, a sound of deep satisfaction. Sated, they withdrew back into their shadows. I walked to Arjun's portrait. The surface, once soft as skin, was now hard and cold as glass. His image trembled, flickered, and then vanished, leaving only a pane of absolute black. Arjun fell from the frame, hitting the marble floor with a dull thud, coughing and gasping for air. He was gaunt, his eyes hollow. He saw the gray shell that was once his sister. Priya. He crawled towards her. Priya. What happened? An exchange occurred, I said calmly. Your sister bought your freedom. Go. You are free. I gestured toward the dim light of the corridor. Arjun stared at me, then at her body, then at the new portrait on the wall, where Priya's eyes watched him with eternal, loving horror. He screamed, a broken, wretched sound, and scrambled to his feet. He ran. He fled through the marble corridor, the stench of the Haveli clinging to him. He shoved the iron gate, its bell ringing wildly, frantically. He fell into the alley, into the blinding sun. He fell into the alley, into the blinding sun. The noise of the city surged back, the blare of rickshaws, the distant chanting, the shouts of vendors. The real world. He was free, but the real world was now a trap. Every sight and sound a reminder of the price that was paid. A puddle reflected his gaunt, panicked face. He looked up and saw a billboard advertising soap, a woman smiling down. Her eyes morphed into Priya's frozen, sacrificial gaze. Arjun screamed again and ran, staggering through the crowded streets. He was free, but forever burdened by sacrifice he could never repay. I returned to my collection, stepping past Priya's empty form. I stood before my new masterpiece. Her portrait gleamed with a terrible beauty, an emotion so pure it would satisfy my patrons for decades. I stopped at the empty black frame where Arjun had escaped. He was free, yes. As I said, I am merely a debt collector. I pressed my ear against the cold, black pane. From its depths, I could hear faint whispers, the echo of a soul torn in two. A part of him I had kept, a fragment of his fear left behind. Priya. It's so dark. Priya. I smiled. My collection is magnificent. But eventually, the patrons will hunger again. They are always hungry. And I, their artist, their curator, I am merely another prisoner in this gallery with a slightly longer chain.